Hey guys, Manny Perez. I'm an actor, writer, producer, known for playing the bad guy mostly in Blue Bloods, Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, Homeland, and a few other shows. And I'm actually promoting my film that I wrote, produced, called Soga Vengeance, that you can see it for free, playing now on Tubi and also on Amazon Prime if you are a Prime member. And I'm here tonight with my boy Todd, and we're going to talk some good news and gossip with FaceTime with Todd Wharton. Thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
What's going on, guys? My name's Matt Oakley, and you're watching FaceTime with Todd Wharton.
From Times Square in New York City, it's FaceTime with Todd Wharton. With special guest, Manny Perez. And musical guest, Matt Oakley. And now, here is your host, Todd Wharton.
So happy New Year, everyone, and happy holidays. This is your man, Todd, from FaceTime with Todd Wharton, and welcome to the first episode of 2025. I hope you guys had a great holiday. Hope you're enjoying the winter. And you know what? Because it's 2025, there's nothing better to start out with than the news exclusive report. So just recently was The View's co-host Whoopi Goldberg's birthday, and she was doing a segment along with Sarah Haynes of some of their favorite things. Now during this segment, Whoopi kind of did a little bit of a Freudian slip. Take a look.
I always wanted my face on cheese.
Yeah, I like to be eaten from time to time.
Whoopsie. Well, listen, the next time you guys decide to go down and grab a bite to eat, take a little time and enjoy the view. Happy holidays, guys. We have a great show for you guys tonight. Hollywood actor, director, writer, and producer, my man Manny Perez is going to be in the house. And then later on, country music artist Matt Oakley will be here performing his hit song, Single This Summer, right here on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. So guys, stick around, and we'll be right back after these messages.
$500,000 a que me lo traiga picado para los puercos.
So welcome back to the show, everyone. So my guest tonight is a Hollywood actor, director, writer, and producer. Recently, you saw him in the final episode of Blue Bloods, but right now he's here to talk about his movie, La Soga Vengeance, that's available on Tubi and Amazon Prime. Guys, please welcome to the show my man, Manny Perez. Manny, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. Thank you, man, for having me. It's been a while, and I'm glad we finally made it happen.
Of course. Well, I got the shirt on. We have to say it. We got to start off right. Manny, happy holidays, brother, to you and your family. Hope you guys
Same to you, man. I got the little green thing going too, so you know it's the weather, the sweater thing happening for Christmas time.
Are you still in New York, or are you in DR? Where you at right now?
No, I'm in New York right now, Washington Heights. Yeah, I've been in
Washington
Washington Heights
okay,
for a long time. Yeah.
I have a lot of friends up there. But let's jump right into it. If you guys don't know, I met Manny years ago. Dominican Day Parade, had a really great interview. The parade was just all over the place, so we could have talked forever, but it was one of those moving topics, and we just connected over years. But I need to jump right into this. So I interviewed Abigail Hawk. Abigail's like, you don't know my name, my dad, Todd? From Blue Bloods. We had a great conversation, and I'm a big fan of that show. And I was watching the final episode, and I'm like, wait, that's Manny. He's playing. I didn't realize it at first. Such an incredible show. Let's talk about that character. You played Carlos Ramirez, and you're being hunted by the NYPD because you shot the mayor. And then there was some personal issues going on. There was a lot of going on with the government and everything. And then there was a really great scene between you and Donnie Wahlberg. Tell me about how you love being on the final episode of such an incredible show.
No, listen, it's funny. I've done that show many years ago.
Oh yeah.
And they had me back for this Carlos character It's a recurring character. Actually, we established that character on episode 11. And the point is that he's a guy from the streets, and he wants vengeance, and he's after this cop who actually takes my daughter away from me, and that's where it became all personal for my character. So working with the crew, with everyone there, is a blessing. I've done other episodes with them in the past. So it was just a blessing to be there, and to be in the final season finale was a plus. I had no idea that was going to happen.
Yeah, and that's huge. I mean, Tom Selleck, Donnie Wahlberg, Bridget Moynihan, Abigail Hawke, Will Estes, Steve Sharif. I mean, so many great actors, and obviously you're a compliment to them. And you guys got to watch this episode because, like I was saying, there's a scene between you and Donnie at the end. No matter how much you were of a bad guy, the moralistic part of being a dad came out. And I loved how they ended that scene. It could have went a different way, but it was just so cool. Whoever wrote that scene showed no matter how bad somebody can be sometimes, when it comes to family, their attitudes will change in a blink of an eye on what's best for their kids. So guys, definitely watch that. CBS, but you could stream it right now on Hulu, Fubo TV, and of course Paramount Plus. Check out my man Manny. Now, Manny, we need to talk about the trilogy. Incredible trilogy. If you guys haven't seen this, La Soga. Now, I don't speak Spanish too well, but I know La Soga means the rope. All right.
Exactly.
You originally played a cop.
Yeah.
Who turned hitman. Obviously, this is based on a lot of true events that are happening around the world, and obviously things like this are getting worse today. The film La Soga 3, The Vengeance, which is on Tubi right now, you really came right out of the gate in this film. Action just started right when you got off the plane. I'm going to leave it at that. Tell me about this character, because I know you love playing it, not only for what the character means to you, but it's also a Dominican Republic-based movie, and you're Dominican. Tell me how you love playing this character, bro.
Yeah, no, this character is actually based on a real guy. His nickname is La Soga, the rope, because of his way of capturing these bad guys. And so they gave him a nickname, especially in the DR. Everybody has a nickname. It's the most craziest shit ever. So this is based on a guy that I met 20 years ago. I was on vacation to Dominican Republic. And then I had a friend of mine who was deported from Washington Heights. And he was deported he lived in my hometown. So I was there visiting, and then all of a sudden I see this cop they call La Soga. He comes into town in a little Datsun little car that has about 50 bullet holes in it. So he pulls up, knocks on my neighbor's door, and then the mom comes out and says, don't kill him, in Spanish. And I'm like, what is she talking about? So he pushes her aside, goes inside, grabs my friend by his hair, brings him to the middle of the street in the park of the town, takes out his gun and shoots him in the head. The guy drops, throws him in the back of of his Datsun little car, and drives him to the city. Mm-hmm. I was like, what is this? This is like a movie. So basically, the guy was getting paid by the government to take care of these bad guys who thought they were above the law. Mm-hmm. So then in my film, I wrote about that incident, and that's La Soga Part 1, basically. Right. And that's the film that got into Toronto, which is huge. Mm-hmm. And that opened a lot of doors for the film. And it got distribution. It got released nationwide. It was great. So then 10 years later, everybody knows me from that role. 10 years later, everybody's asking me, hey, man, where's Part 2 and Part 3 or Part 4, whatever. So then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to write a Part 2. So I wrote a Part 2 called La Soga Salvation that I shot in Rhode Island. Yeah. Basically, the guy, he wants to escape from his past, so he moves to the smallest state in the Union, which is Providence, Rhode Island, and that's where you see his personal side in La Soga 2. Now, in La Soga 3, he moves back to the DR to revenge something that happens in Part 2, and that's where you see La Soga Vengeance is for free now, streaming on Tubi and Amazon Prime, actually. And basically, it's just a guy who hates his past, but has to deal with his past in the country that he was born in, which is Dominican Republic.
Yeah, and the crazy part about it is, like you said, he has to deal with his past, but he keeps learning more and more that when there are a lot of these issues that are happening, whether it's in government, the cartel, the mafia, you're blind to what reality is, and your character keeps learning that family is becoming a big thing, and you're learning more and more. And the funny thing is, and this happens in real life, you can know somebody for 40, 50 years, but actually never know them unless an occurrence happens. And you learn that in this one. We're not going to get all into that. But I do want to get into one thing. You have my boy in this film. I know him as Jason Andors.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, his character was kind of like a nonchalant Dominican gringo, who was kind of like a fool, like kind of like he played an idiot. But if you guys know him online, he always plays these funny roles, and it's hilarious. And when I saw him in this film, I'm like, oh my God. I think it was the perfect role for him. Now, I have to assume you casted him as well. Did you have him purposely for this role that you pictured him in?
No, he auditioned actually, because I was looking for a gringo that spoke Spanish.
Right.
And I was like, fuck, how am I going to find that? So he sent me a self-tape, and I was like, wow, this guy is amazing. I had no idea that he was a comedian. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, man. So then we met in Washington Heights, and we sat down, and I'm like, listen, man, there's the role. Now you got to understand the role. It's a hard role to take in because of what he does.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, if at the end of the day, it's a film that is very special for the Latino community, and the Latino community knows this character very well. So he's like, man, listen, I love the script, I love the story, let's do it. What's amazing about him, that even though he is a comedian, what he brings to the role is that you like him no matter what shady shit he's on or what he's doing. You still vouch for him. You still want him to, be better. And that's the beauty of having Jason in it, because he's really, I think he was brilliant in it, It fit him perfectly, it fit him perfectly for that type of role, because the role, what he does, what he represents is really a nasty, nasty character,
I mean, and we don't really see that more until I think 3/4 of the way into the film. Obviously, I'm not going to tell people what we find out about him, but we see him in most of the film. He's playing the son, I believe, of the senator. I think it was the son, the way he was acting. You didn't really mention it in that.
Yeah, no, he's the son of an American diplomat.
Right. That's what
exactly.
It is. Right.
Who's a spoiled little bitch? Excuse my French.
He's like the American engineer.
Exactly.
Right. That's, you know what? Thank you for clearing that, because I got that mixed up. I was trying to read the subtitles. You guys know this whole film's in Spanish, so I had to read everything. Yeah, because there's a scene at the table where he's kind of like, you got to have a lot of balls to boss around somebody who's connected with the cartel. That's all I got to say.
Exactly. And that's the beauty. And the crazy thing is, this is based on true events. So everything you see in this film actually happened in the DR. Everything about it happened in the DR. I just, what I did as a writer is I just took elements of it and put it into a film so I can show the world what has been going on in the DR. And what's crazy is that, I showed this film around, and Mexicans, Colombians, South Americans, I'm like, listen, that's happening also in my country. Yeah. So it's not just a Dominican thing, it's a nation, Latin America thing,
Yeah, I love it. And the cast is great. It's not a huge cast, but each character you put in here, you know how you have a lot of movies where you have a lot of characters and 90% of them are more cameo roles? Every character you have in this film actually has a significance on where your character ends up in the end, from the maid to the reporter.
Yeah.
Right? The reporter, by the way, beautiful lady. Where did you find this lady? I mean, talented and her face is just gorgeous. Where'd you find her? She was
Yeah, she's also did an audition in the DR. She's Dominican, and I wanted to show what a true Dominican woman is with her hair curly.
Yeah.
Not none of these reporters who want to straighten their hair. It's more like, this is what I am. This is what I believe, and this is what I'm about. So I mean, she was a blessing to be with in this film. She brought a lot of layers to the character that was great, to have. And yeah, man, she's just a Dominican actress who no one has given her a chance, and she came on board and did an amazing job.
Yeah, and I love Senator Florentino. Plays a very, very cold person. I've spoken to a lot of actors that when they have to play an evil person, it's fun because it's the opposite of who they are, but they have to really dive in deep to play a character like that, because when you're a nice person off screen, it's kind of hard sometimes to play that evil person because it's something that you would never do. How did you land this guy as well, and how did you cast him? Because that's a role that's very important in this film.
Yeah, no, it's funny, he's in La Soga Salvation, which is La Soga 2. I established him there just because I wanted to bring him over. When I wrote La Soga 2, I also had in mind to write La Soga 3. And by the way, if people ask me, well, do I need to see La Soga 1 to understand La Soga 2 and 3? You don't.
No.
Film works on its own. The only connection is that the main character is throughout, but it doesn't really matter. You can just see part 3 without seeing part 2. But the point is, I found this man. He's a Dominican actor, well established in the DR. Actually, one of the best in the DR. Yeah. So I had him in mind when I was writing this way back, 5-6 years ago. So having him was another blessing. Again, he's one of the best Dominican actors in the DR, and it's I feel like I was surrounded by the best talent in the DR while shooting this film.
Yeah, no, I loved every single character, even Sixto, which AKA they call him Commando. I won't get into that topic as well, because not only was he good, his role kind of like flipped your character into mob hitman mode.
Exactly.
The reason why I'm telling everybody this through each character, I want you guys to understand this is such a great film. You got to watch it. Like I said, every character really, really did a hell of a job, and there are things that you don't realize what's about to happen. And your character was pretty much trying to just have a life again, just go back home. But when you're a cop turned hitman, once you cross that line into being a hitman, there's really no going back, because when you develop that lifestyle of creating enemies all over the world, you're always going to be on the run, even when you're standing still.
Exactly. And that's exactly what, this whole story is about. And also the ending of it, which I don't want to talk about, but the ending leaves you wondering, wow, man, this is the world this guy lived in, and this is what he has created, and now he has to deal with it. A guy who's just trying to be a common everyday man, but he can't because his past won't let him. And that's the most interesting part about this whole thing. At the end of the day, he's just a regular guy, man, who's put in a situation and he has no idea how to get out of it.
Well,
same thing with
some of the greatest films happen. I mean,
same thing with Sixto character.
Listen, when you have a hitman character or a cop, Lethal Weapons, Die Hards, just go down the list. If the characters are done correctly, you can do the movies can get better and better and better, because those are the topics that there's so many of them, and people love action, people love thriller, people love, just movies that it keeps you guessing on who this person is and what can happen. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know there's going to be a La Soga 4. I know. Listen, we're going to talk offline, because everybody knows I'm a marketing guy, and I'm going to throw an idea at you, and you're going to take it or not. But I'm telling you, this idea is going to be crazy. It'd be like, yo, Todd, that is, let's talk about that.
That's great, man.
But I'm going to tell you right now, what freaks me out, the Diablo Conjuelos, I hate those guys because every time I do the Dominican Day Parade, my camera guy got whooped right in the ass from one of those things because they're walking around whipping shit. Pardon my friends, I got to say it, but you hear whoosh, and
Yep.
you don't realize how scary that stuff is until you're next to them. And I love how you added that to the movie because each genre, each dialect of a film, whether it's Puerto Rican, Italian, Dominican, there's always that one thing that you can relate to in that journey of a nationality. And when you do that in there, that just tells everybody in the world this is a Dominican film.
Yeah.
And I love
Well,
that.
it's part of the culture. I feel like I wanted to bring the culture element to it, and that's something that it's purely Dominican. No other Latinos have it. Dominicans do, and I wanted to sort of end with that. That rhythm, and as you know, it was a slow mo also towards the end, and then the whipping is more like, man, this is the world that he's in. And it sort of gives it a magical touch, having those elements of those dancers in it.
I love it. I love it. Now, guys, if you don't know, we spoke about it before. Go on Tubi. It's free. It's definitely worth it. Like he said, you don't have to see 1 and 2. You could do what I did. I actually looked up 1 and 2, and when you get a synopsis on who this character is, when you watch number 3, your brain goes right into the film because once you read a background of who the character is, which is like a paragraph, it's very easy to get involved with this film. But I do recommend seeing 1 and 2. Now, before we go, I know we're going to talk about 4, but are you working on something else right now that you have in the works that may be coming out summer of 2025?
No, I might be doing Big Dogs. I'm not sure if you saw Big Dogs. It's a series that I did on Amazon Prime. There might be a season 2 for Big Dogs coming this year. I might be doing that. Other than that, looking around for the next gig. As an actor, as you know, we wait around more than anything else for the next gig. So, and promoting my film the film that I'm promoting now.
Well, we look forward to seeing you. I'm sure we're going to see you on other TV shows as well because they always look for great actors like yourself. Congratulations on this film, Soga 3 Vengeance, guys. Check it out. Manny, of course, man. Thank you for being on FaceTime with Todd Wharton during the holidays, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you for having me. And again, man, everyone out there, please check out this film. It's on Tubi and it's also on Amazon Prime if you are a Prime member, a subscription member, and it's free. So check it out. And thank you so much.
So don't go away, guys, because coming right back, there's country music artist Matt Oakley performing his hit song, Single This Summer, right here on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. So stick around.
Bienvenido a su país.
Can someone tell me what the hell is going on here?
You're right, my friend. The hell that is going on. Do you remember that memory stick?
Dicen que usted tiene una memoria llena de sorpresa.
Is in town.
Quiero la información que hay ahí adentro.
¿Quién eres tú? ¿Qué lío tú estás metido? Qué puntería la tuya, primo. Venía ahora precisamente.
Esto es lo que necesitamos para someter a tu esto corrupto a la justicia.
Primo, mire, por eso es que este país tiene que cambiar para que tenga un futuro mejor.
Let's just put a price on his head.
Usted me va a traer la soga y la memoria.
$500,000 a que me lo traiga picado para los puercos.
It's not just a guy. Es una máquina de matar.
¿Sabe por qué me dicen la soga? Porque ahora es cuando yo aprieto.
What's going on, y'all? My name's Matt Oakley, and you're about to watch my latest music video for my song Single This Summer, right here on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. bar stools and cigarette smoke, where the dive bar band's playing all the wrong notes. Them dollar bills still hanging on the wall. This ain't no place for her kind at all. She had them red bottoms on in this blue collar town. There's only two reasons why girls like her come around. She either took a wrong turn back in Austin, or she's looking for love cause she lost it. We were two flames burning, red wine and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort, just trying to set the mood right under the neon moonlight. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to make her mine by the end of the night. I'm a good line away from her number, trying to keep her from being single this summer. Sunsets and sunrise nights have never been my thing, but hell, they might just be what I need after all. Hell, you can't find love till you fall. And she ain't used to red dirt roads, but for what it's worth, I feel like home in the middle of the soul bench seat. Every song brings it closer to me. We were two flames burning, red wine and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort, just trying to set the mood right under the neon moonlight. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to make her mine by the end of the night. I'm a good line away from her number, trying to keep her from being single this summer. We were two flames burning, red wine and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort, just trying to set the moon right under the neon moonlights. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to make her mine by the end of the night. I'm a good line away from her number, trying to keep her from being single this summer. Single this summer.
So I just want to take a moment and thank my guests, Manny Perez and Matt Oakley, for stopping by FaceTime with Todd Wharton. First and foremost, Manny, love the film, bro, but you know I loved you in Blue Bloods, right? I got some history with that show, but I also loved you in La Soga Benson, such a great film. I know you wrote, directed, produced it. You did everything, starred in it. And guys, you got to go see this film. It's on Tubi, Amazon Prime, and while you're at it, you might as well go see La Soga 1 and 2. You won't be disappointed. Matt Oakley, welcome back to the show, bro. If you guys don't know, Matt was on the show recently performing one of his hit songs. Definitely follow both these gentlemen on social media. Matt's a rising star in country, so you won't be disappointed. He's got a lot more great hits that you guys can listen to. Guys, Happy New Year again. I hope you had a great holiday. Enjoy the winter, especially here in New York. And thank you for stopping by FaceTime with Todd Wharton and watching the first episode of 2025. I know you love this episode because you know I did. But like I always say at the end of the day, especially to start out the new year, if you're not living the passion of your life, then whose life are you living? Take care, guys. I'll see you soon.